Memories of the Erie County, Pennsylvania Bench and Bar by Judge Emery A. Walling of Erie Bar, 1928. The subject, Charles E. Lovett, Esquire. Charles E. Lovett was the son of Joseph and Anne Dutton Lovett. Was born in Clymer, Chautauqua County, New York, April 14, 1851. His father, a native of Maine of Scottish lineage, after having been an actor of note in his own youth, followed the business as a mercantile tailor. The mother was a native of New York State of English extraction. When Charles was young, the family moved to Madison, Ohio, where he attended district school and the Madison Seminary. He then entered the law department of the Michigan University, from which he graduated with an LL.B. degree in the class of 1874. Coming to Erie, he registered with Colonel Lynch, and after spending some time with him and in the office of Charles Burnham, Esquire, was admitted to the Erie Bar October 10, 1874, and here entered upon the practice of law. His brother, Dr. A.S. Lovett, was then a popular young physician in South Erie. In 1878, after a spirited contest in which he received more votes than his two opponents, Charles E. Lovett received the Republican nomination for district attorney and was duly elected. It was then considered a one-term office, and so was not a candidate for re-election, although his conduct of the office was given general public satisfaction. In 1882, following Horace Greeley's advice, he went west and located in Lemoore, Dakota, where, in addition to the practice of law, he did a very successful real estate business. After about 4 years' residence in Dakota, he moved to Duluth, Minnesota, then in its infancy, but giving promise of a remarkably fine Lakeport city as it has since become. For about 12 years, he was actively and extensively engaged there in real estate business. He was public-spirited and took such high rank as a citizen in the real estate business. In 1898, he was elected composite controller of Duluth and served as such for a full term. He was universally respected and looked upon as a pioneer resident of that city. He continued in the legal profession as much as permittedly by his other duties. He was ever noted as a fraternalist, and in 1897 was one of the founders and perhaps the leading spirit in the establishment of the fraternal order known as the Modern Sumerians. And from 1913 until his death in 1925 was its supreme president. This was the crowning work of his life, and under the capable management, the order grew into a great fraternity both in the United States and Canada. Lovett became known as one of America's leading fraternalists and took high rank in the national fraternal conventions. To the writer, Mr. Lovett's most striking characteristic was his unusual faculty of making and retaining personal friends. While in Erie, he had hundreds of warm personal friends scattered over the county, and in the West it became to be thousands spread over a vast territory. In December 1879, he was united in marriage to Miss Sarah H. Rowe of Madison, Ohio. This union was blessed by two children, a daughter, now Miss Rosa Watts of West Palm Beach, Florida, and a son, Carl H. Lovett of Hudson, Wisconsin. On September 10th, 1925, while on a visit to his old home and friends of Erie, Mr. Lovett was accidentally struck and killed by an automobile and was buried in Madison, Ohio. In addition to his widow and the children above mentioned, he was survived by two brothers, Dr. Arthur S. Lovett of West Palm Beach, Florida, and Irving D. Lovett of Fort Dodge, Iowa. His sudden death called forth many eulogies of an unusual character. The Sumerian office organ of the fraternity of which he was the supreme president got out a special edition devoted entirely to the description of his life, and services, while the press in Duluth gave full utterance to the loss and sorrow of the city at the passing of such a highly distinguished and ever loyal citizen. One editorial closed with the beautiful lines, "There is no death. The stars go down to rise upon some fairer shore, and brighten heaven's jeweled crown. They shine forevermore."